Like you would offer incentives to them. I didn't hear a price tag or a way that you would pay for, for example, broadband services for businesses, etc. Do you have any estimate on the things that you laid out, what they might cost,
It depends. The cost would depend on how many cities would participate, and again, it's got to be done in the context of the budget.
Is it kind of a response to cities and mayors have been very critical of the legislature in the last couple of years for, in their view, not supporting what's happening in urban areas? Is this kind of a response to that? Is it making up for something that wasn't lost? I don't know if I would say it's making up, but I believe that we need to focus on our cities more than has been done in the past. Again, not to the exclusion of our rural areas by any means, but the economic strength of our cities affects areas far beyond the cities. It affects suburbs and exurbs and areas further beyond.
Speaker, have you shared your vision with Governor Strickland? Is he on board with the specifics you talked about today?
We've had some conversations about some of the items, and some of the items have not yet been discussed with the governor.
Would you anticipate that his proposal for the budget will include some of these tax incentives and credits you're talking about?
That I can't say.
You say some have not been discussed. Which ones in particular have you not run by him yet?
To be honest, I can't remember which ones I've talked about with the governor and which ones I can't at this moment. I've talked with some of his representatives. We've had, for example, the education technology proposal. We've discussed a little bit with some of the members of the Department of Education to get some information and ideas, and I'm hopeful that they would be supportive of that kind of approach.
What's going to be House Bill number 1?
And you'll be the first to know. I don't know that yet.
Speaker, you've ruled out tax hikes, I believe. Are you considering possibility of maybe diverting some funding from some of the big dollar ticket items like essential service programs, education, to fund some of these tax credits and incentives that you're talking about?
Again, I can't tell you yet how we're going to move forward. Again, we have to look at the whole budget, and as you know, that's going to be a very complicated issue this year. I'm hoping that we'll be able to find some new sources of revenue.
Safe to say some of the incentives and the tax credits that you mentioned expanding would be safe under your watch from budget cuts?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Would you try to protect some of those tax incentives and credits from budget cuts in the face of a $7 billion shortfall?
I think that we have to do two things, and I think Governor Strickland has done this, by the way, over the first 2 years, and that is being very fiscally responsible, living within our means, while still finding ways to invest in Ohio. So, for example, even though we passed a budget which was the smallest growth budget in Ohio's history, I believe, 2 years ago, the governor and the legislature made investments through the budget itself, made investments through the economic stimulus package, and made investments through the energy bill, just to name a few. So I do believe that there are ways to do that. The governor was very creative in coming up with the securitization of the tobacco funds as one way to find revenue. I think we need to continue to be creative and look for ways to find revenue to help the state.
The displays of bipartisanship we saw here, do you expect that those will continue on as we get into the budget hearings and some of the more tough things that are going to happen?
I hope so. I think so. The fact is that I think that the people of Ohio and the entire country are demanding us in the legislatures to work together to solve problems, and I do believe that both Bill Batchelder as Minority Leader and Senator Harris are very much in tune with the need and desire to work across party lines. I think Senator Harris has shown that over the last 2 years, working very closely with the governor.
Are you going to continue joint sponsorship of bills that Speaker Husted started last session?
Yes, I thought that was an excellent approach to encouraging bipartisanship in the House.
Okay. Speaker, how vital is it the federal government provides some bailout assistance for states in their budgets, particularly Ohio?
I think it's critical that we get assistance from the federal government.
A number in mind? The governor's
as much as possible. As much as possible.
Is it your intention to move quickly on a new veterans bonus bill?
I am interested in moving on a veterans bonus bill. I supported the veterans bonus bill, but I do believe it needs to be done through bonding.
What about election reform? Is that just something the Republicans wanting to do, or is that something the Democrats want to look at as well?
No, I think we intend to look at election reform. In fact, I'm intending to create a new elections committee separate from state and local government, because I think there's a number of things we can be doing in elections reform.
Would that be a temporary committee just for the session?
Well, it would be a standing committee for this session. Whether it needs to continue depends on how much we get done.
You know who chair of that committee?
I don't know.
When will you announce chairmanship?
I'm not sure yet. Committees get voted on as part of the rules, and that will be January 28th, so that will be the official creation of the committee.